Hey everybody, Sean McInnes here alongside Niclas Karlsson from Paradox North, who's working on Magicka Wizard Wars. Niclas, tell us what we're about to see here, because you guys, you took the Magicka sort of style of spellcasting and you did something a little bit crazy with it.
Yeah, so we wanted to really focus on the multiplayer aspect because Magicka had a PvP mode, but it wasn't really fleshed out. So we felt that we wanted to really explore what we could do with it, how we could do like a multiplayer game where you use spells and combine them at random, seemingly at random, and sometimes with very much strategy involved to battle foes and come up with really cool strategies with friends. So we built this game mode where you have to capture a couple of spawn points, which acts as your respawn point for your team, in order to have a game mode which can end fairly quickly, but also endure for longer periods of time if the teams are very equal in power.
Okay.
So to avoid those really long, obtuse long games that you can have sometimes in other multiplayer titles.
Okay. So each team starts with those 100 tickets, and the more bases that you control, the slower they drain.
No, actually it's the opposite. The more points you own, the more tickets you steal from your enemies.
Oh, you steal. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Got it.
So the one you can win in two ways. The one way is to have all the points in your team and then killing all the enemies because they cannot spawn anymore.
Okay.
Or you just hold out and you try to drain their tickets so they don't have any left, and that'll disable their respawn ability as well.
Okay. So let's talk about what you guys did with the Magicka spellcasting system. It looks like you kept those same 8 basic elements, but you kind of reduced the sort of combinations from 5 to 3.
Absolutely. The thing was with the original game that since you had 8 elements at your disposal that you could combine with 5 different ones. That was several thousands combinations, and that's a very hard thing to balance and make put into a competitive game. So what we did was we reduced the amount to 3, so you still have a couple of 100 different combinations, but which allows you to do a lot of different stuff at the get-go, but it also enables us to make it more balanced and a more fair playing ground for the players.
Now let's talk about those magics there, mapped to 1, 2, 3, and 4 keys. What do those do?
Yeah, we in the original game you could cast every magic at all times, which we found was a very bad thing to do for balancing as well. So what we did was we created a kind of a super meter, like in a fighting game, where you, by doing several types of actions like killing enemies, holding spawn points, and so on, will add to your super meter, and that in itself, when it reaches certain thresholds, will enable you to cast magics. And magics can be anything from giving you a short speed boost, to reviving a friend, to spawning powerful NPCs to fight for you, and also our ulti, as you might call it, that we have right now, meteor shower, which just surrounds an area in fiery rocks from the sky. So they're using these also drains your super meter, so it's a real tactical decision. Do you want to use the utility ones on the lower tier 1 and 2, or do you want to save up and do the powerful attacks on 3 and 4?
Okay. So this being a team game, what are some of the ways that teammates can interact with each other and combine together to be more powerful than just one person?
Yeah, teaming up with a friend in this game makes you really powerful, especially if you team up to 2 versus 1. The things you can do is having one friend assist the other by using water to douse someone, while the other one uses lightning to constantly bombard someone with lightning damage, because a wet target always gets more damage from lightning. And you can also use cross your beams, which you can do in this game, to increase the damage they produce and stuff like that. And you can also, you can try and do stunning your foe while the other one deals the damage and stuff like that.
All right. So it looks like we've got John here playing the game. It looks like his team have they captured all 3?
Yeah, they're about to lose the 3rd spawn point, so they were almost about to win by having all of them. But we'll see what happens now. It seems like there's a battle going on the top right one. Here we saw John just survive the meteor shower.
In the meteor shower, that's the 4th magic.
Yeah,
that's sort of the ulti?
Yeah, that's the ultimate spell you have at your disposal in this particular game we see here right now.
So tell me how John's doing right here.
Yeah, he's doing kind of fine, I think. Yeah, here you can see him using Earth as a self spell to produce an earthquake and like make his enemies fall down. And here he just escaped the grasp of death, which was really good. Let's see. Yeah, now he's just like healing up because you can heal yourself, but it takes a lot of time, so it's much more efficient to have somebody else heal you in this game. So there again, you see the teamwork being at play. And now let's see, they're trying to recapture this one. They've lost 2 spawn points here. Yeah,
things are going so well for a minute there.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The game can change fairly quickly if just the team really, cooperates and does what they do best. So that's the risk. If you lose your focus, you can end up like losing all the spawn points fairly quickly if the other team does. If they do like sneak attacks and if they gang up on you at the right time. So yeah, let's see. John is a very fairly frequent user of the earthquake with a very nasty stun spell.
So I'm not sure if we've talked about those little minions yet. What do those guys do and how do you get them?
Yeah, when you take over a spawn point, you spawn 2 minions, like 2 imps that we call them, and they will stand around and they will protect the spawn point so that the other team can't just recapture it like every 2 seconds, because they're very fast and they're very annoying because they tend to stab you, and in larger numbers they're really dangerous. But also when you respawn after dying, you will get your personal minion, your little imp that follows you around and attacks people for you. So they're kind of helpful, while also giving you like some breathing space. So when you encounter an enemy, you can like let your imp go forward first and like do being kind of a meat shield.
Okay. So the other team is down to about 1 ticket left. Meanwhile, John's team's got 24, so things are looking pretty good for him right now.
Yeah, so now we're turning into a war of attrition right here, where John's team they have so many tickets that it's kind of a safe win here, but if the other team like really focuses and like keeps together and keeps reviving each other, because you can still revive your teammates after the tickets are out. So if they really like get their shit together, they will be able to win this, even though they're in a fairly the other team has the advantage over them. So let's see, yeah, so now there's only 1 player left on the enemy team. And this is what we at the office usually refer to as the hunting mode, which is just like 4 people ganging up on 1 poor guy.
Now, if you are the 1 guy left on that other team, what is your best tactic right here?
Yeah, in this case, when the other guy doesn't have any spawn tickets left, the only thing he can do is like find his teammates and trying to revive them.
Okay.
But in this case, he wasn't very successful, so John's team won fairly easily here with 14 tickets to spare.
All right, so while we wait for this next match to start, John, if you could show us a little bit of the customization system, that would be great.
Yeah, so here you have the main menu, and in the gear screen you will be able to like customize your wizard with custom robes, weapons, and staffs, and also some trinkets. And what they do is the weapons are mainly doing melee, what you use for melee damage. They don't do anything to change your stats and stuff, but the robes and staffs, however, they will change your elemental affinity.
Okay.
So they will give you some bonuses to some elements and also reduce your affinity for other, because we want to have it, even though you can buy stuff and get like very powerful gear, we still want it to be balanced so that people won't be able to have too much of an advantage. So it's more like a specking thing where you do. It's like I really like to throw fireballs at people, so I want to like customize myself so I'm very good with fire, because I don't really care about the opposite element, which in this case is arcane.
Okay.
But so you can combine and like spec 2 different elements and be a very good like fire and arcane, or fire or earth kind of guy. So it's really about finding the kinds of spells you like and like customizing yourself to be better at those.
Okay.
But the enemy will still be able to like use your weaknesses against you then. So it's very important to have an overlook on like what the other team's strengths and weaknesses are, so you can watch out for it.
Okay. And so what determines how you acquire those robes and weapons and such?
Yeah, you will be able to unlock them by progressing through the game, and you will be able to buy them for like the in-game currency and stuff like that.
Okay.
And we've also talked about stuff like having them being rewards for doing achievements and things like that. But it's fairly early in the making, so we're still deciding upon much of it.
Okay. So while this match is still early going, let's talk about the sense of humor in the game, because that was such a huge part of the original Magicka. How are you guys looking to preserve that sense of humor when there's no sort of like primary storyline?
Yeah, since this is not a narrative-driven game, that's kind of a hard challenge to master. But we've sensed that the main thing is just simply going to be the lore from the items. So descriptions and stuff like that, and also like the kinds of different magics that you can use. We will have some pop culture references, magics, and we will have. Also the announcer being kind of the main character of the game, and like being the one who spews out funny dialogue and shit and stuff like that. So it's kind of in a different way, but we still think that we will maintain the core feel of the humor of Magicka.
So it kind of strikes me as one of those games where the very first time you look at it, you lay eyes on this game, it looks crazy, there's so much going on, there's all these colors and everything. But as you continue to play the game, what are the types of things that you want to focus on? Like, what are the most important details that you want to pick up on right away? Like, is it what type of robe the other guy has on, so you know his weakness? Is it that sort of thing?
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff really, but yeah, as you said, the robes is kind of an important thing. You will be able to, like, from the robe determine what is this guy's main weakness and powerful element. And also the things you want to look for is like how good they are at using like resistances. Like we see here, these people with the colorful rings around them, that is elements that they've now used spells to protect themselves against. So this guy won't be damaged by lightning, for instance, and now he changed it over to arcane, or death, I mean. So you will see people that are really good at handling like different kinds of resistances, changing them mid battle and stuff like that. And that is going to be a very important factor of like how you do in the long run, like when you become better and better.
Okay. So it looks like John has a meteor shower magic ready.
Yeah, so now he's powered up his super bar to the very end, so now he can use meteor shower to rain down some fireballs in these guys' heads. And he's managed to kill himself with it. But at least he got like 1 or 2 kills.
So not only can you kill yourself, but there is friendly fire against the rest of your team as well, right?
Yeah, that is like one of the most important things from Magicka, being able to accidentally kill your friends is kind of hilarious in some regard, but we still want to, I mean, it's kind of dangerous in an online game to have that, but we still felt that it's so core to the main experience that we wanted to keep it. And we will also, it kind of limits you to what spells you can use in certain situations. You might not, for instance, like when you have 4 friends or 3 friends huddling up against around one target, you can't really use fire because then you will, damage everyone. Okay. So it kind of limits you to what spells are effective at any given time, which we find is like very interesting for the tactical decisions you have to make then. And at the same time, we enable you to kill your friends, but we also enable you to revive your enemies. So if you can, for instance, double kill someone, which is hilarious, but it's kind of a risk take as well. Yeah,
and you can cast like a health immunity on yourself as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, a big part of what made Magicka so fun was that the fact that you could, screw up, you could make do really bad combinations, and we still kept that. So, for instance, as you said, you can make yourself resistant against life, so nobody can heal you, and you can also. For instance, put out mines and then accidentally trigger them by using an AoE spell. So we have lots of different humorous situations that can occur.
And so overall, the game is meant to be pretty fast-paced, and the matches are meant to be relatively short compared to some other multiplayer online games.
Yeah, we wanted to keep it sweet and short, and enable people to drag. A battle can drag on for quite some time if both teams are really skilled, but if one team is like fairly overpowered against the other one, the match can end kind of quickly. So we wanted to be, the players to be able to like dictate the length depending on their skill level and stuff like that.
So tell me, how much content is going to be in the game when you guys launch, and what sort of how are you looking to expand the game post-release?
Yeah, we really want to like build the game our community wants. So we're starting out with a fairly small scope with one game mode, one level, a couple of robes and staffs and weapons, and then in the alpha build, and then we will just expand depending on the feedback we get. Because we really want to build the right game. We want to build the game that people want, not the game we think they want.
Yeah.
So fairly small, but we will. There will be tons of content in regards of like the different kinds of spells you can cast. All the spells will be there, but we will like add on to new weapons, new robes, and more content as we go along.
And since the game is going to be free to play, how do you make sure that people don't just purchase their way to victory?
Yeah, as I said, all the gear we will sell will have pros and cons. So you can't really buy yourself to victory. Instead, you will be able to buy yourself to a specialization.
Okay.
But at the same time, I think we won't have the store at the get-go. So this is still like in the making. So I don't have all the information just of yet. But we very much want to avoid having a pay-to-win game, as people call it.
All right, John managed to achieve victory a second time there. Cool. Well, Niclas, thank you so much for talking us through Magicka Wizard Wars. Can you tell us anything about when you're hoping to get the game out?
Yeah, we are aiming at an alpha a closed alpha in the fall. So, and more information will come soon.
All right. Cool. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me.